Daniel Mercer smiled as he quietly opened the front door. His phone was still full of photos, her body, her smile, her youth, everything his wife no longer had. 7 days in paradise. 7 days of freedom. 7 days of betrayal. He stepped inside. The house was quiet. Too quiet. He frowned. Something felt wrong. Then he saw it. A glass of wine on the table. Fresh. Recently poured. Daniel froze. Because his wife didn't drink wine alone. Then he heard footsteps upstairs. Slow. Calm. Waiting. And in that moment, Daniel realized something terrifying. She knew. Daniel stood frozen in the entrance, listening. Every instinct told him to leave, but pride kept him still. This was his house, his life, his control. He placed his suitcase down quietly, trying to look normal, trying to feel normal, trying to convince himself everything was normal, but nothing was. He walked into the living room. The air smelled different. Not bad, just different, organized, clean, empty. Too empty, like something had already ended. Then he heard her voice, calm, emotionless. "You're back early." Daniel turned. Emma stood at the top of the stairs, watching him. Not crying, not angry, not broken, calm. That terrified him more than anything. "Emma," he said carefully. She didn't move. She didn't run to him. She didn't ask how he was. She simply stood there, observing him, like she was looking at a stranger. "How was your trip?" she asked. Simple words. Dangerous words. Daniel swallowed. "Good." She nodded slowly. "I know." His heart skipped. "What do you mean?" Emma walked down the stairs, each step controlled, each step confident, each step final. She stopped in front of him, close enough to see the fear in his eyes. "I know where you were." Silence filled the house, heavy, final, irreversible. Daniel tried to speak, failed, because deep inside, he knew she wasn't guessing. She knew everything. She reached into her pocket. Pulled out his second phone, the one he thought she never knew about, and placed it gently on the table. "I've known for 6 months." Daniel felt the ground disappear beneath him. Daniel stared at the phone. His secret, exposed, destroyed. "How?" he whispered. Emma didn't answer immediately. She walked past him calmly. "I saw the messages." Her voice didn't shake, didn't break, didn't feel. "I saw the photos." Daniel couldn't breathe. "I saw everything." He expected anger. Screaming, pain. But Emma gave him something worse. Peace. Because peace meant she had already accepted it, already processed it, already moved on. "Why didn't you say anything?" Daniel asked weakly. Emma looked at him and smiled faintly. "Not with love, with closure. Because I needed you to finish." Daniel didn't understand. "Finish what?" Emma's eyes met his. "Showing me who you really are." And in that moment, Daniel realized something far worse than losing her. He had already lost her long ago. He just didn't know it yet. Daniel felt the room shrinking around him, the walls, the silence, Emma's calm breathing. Everything pressed against him at once. "You knew," he whispered. Emma didn't correct him, because knew wasn't strong enough. She had watched, she had waited, she'd finished grieving long before he walked through that door. Daniel ran his hand through his hair nervously. "We can fix this." Emma almost laughed, not loudly. Just enough. That hurt him more than shouting ever could. "There's nothing to fix." Her voice was gentle, final, like closing a door that would never open again. Daniel stepped closer. "Emma, please." She stepped back, not in fear, in distance, because he no longer belonged near her. "You don't need to pretend anymore," she said calmly. Daniel froze. Pretending had been everything. Pretending he loved her. Pretending he was loyal. Pretending he was still the man she married. Emma walked toward the dining table, picked up the glass of wine, took a slow sip, watching him over the rim. "You know what hurt the most?" she asked. Daniel didn't answer, because he was afraid of the truth. "It wasn't that you cheated." She set the glass down carefully. "It was how easy it was for you." Daniel felt something break inside him. He tried to change the narrative. "She meant nothing." Emma nodded. "I know." That confused him. "Then why are you?" she interrupted softly. Because she wasn't the problem. Silence. You were. Daniel felt control slipping, for the first time in his life. He wasn't managing the situation. He wasn't influencing the outcome. He wasn't winning. Emma had already moved beyond his reach. Then she said something that froze his blood. "I moved the accounts." Daniel blinked. "What?" She held his gaze. "The joint accounts." His heart began to pound. "What do you mean?" Emma didn't raise her voice. Didn't need to. "I separated everything." Daniel's stomach dropped. Because money wasn't just money. Money was power. And power was control. And control was the only thing he had left. "You can't do that," he said weakly. Emma tilted her head slightly. "I already did." Daniel's mind raced. This wasn't emotional anymore. This was structural. Permanent, legal, real. Emma walked toward the front door, opened it slowly. Cool air entered the house. "This isn't your home anymore." Daniel stared at her. Not understanding, not accepting, not believing. "What?" Emma's voice stayed calm. "I finalized everything while you were gone. Each word precise. Measured, prepared. You signed the papers." Daniel shook his head. "No, I didn't." Emma's eyes didn't move. "You did." She paused. "You just didn't read them." Memory hit him suddenly. Documents he signed quickly. Trusting her, trusting them, trusting everything. His signature, his consent, his end. Daniel realized the truth too late. She hadn't reacted emotionally. She had reacted strategically. She hadn't confronted him. She had freed herself. "You planned this," he whispered. Emma didn't deny it. "I survived this." There was a difference, a painful difference. Daniel looked around the house, his life, his illusion. Everything was still there, but none of it belonged to him anymore. Because ownership wasn't about walls. Ownership was about who had power. And Emma had taken hers back. She stepped aside. Leaving the door open. "You should go, not angry, not cruel, complete." Daniel didn't move, because leaving meant accepting. Accepting meant losing, and losing meant facing the truth. He wasn't in control anymore. He never had been. Emma spoke one last time, quiet, certain. "I deserved honesty." Daniel had no answer. Because honesty was the one thing he had never given her. Daniel had left his home believing he had power. He returned to discover he had none. And the woman he betrayed had already rebuilt her life without him. Daniel stood in the doorway. The open air behind him felt colder than anything inside the house. He didn't recognize his own life anymore. The walls were the same. The furniture was the same, but something invisible had shifted. Ownership, control, power, all gone. Emma didn't rush him. She didn't need to, because she knew something he was only beginning to understand. He had already lost. He just hadn't accepted it yet. Daniel stepped back inside slowly. "This doesn't make sense," he said weakly. Emma didn't respond immediately. She walked to the table, picked up a thin folder, and placed it in front of him. "You should read it now." Her voice was calm, not emotional, prepared. Daniel stared at the folder. His name was on it. He opened it with trembling hands. Legal documents, bank transfers, property ownership forms, everything signed, everything official. Everything final. His voice cracked. "When did you do this?" Emma leaned against the table. "Over the last 6 months. 6 months. The exact amount of time he had been betraying her. While he was lying, she was leaving. While he was hiding, she was rebuilding." Daniel flipped through the pages faster. Desperate. Searching for a mistake. There must be something wrong. Emma shook her head gently. "There isn't." Daniel looked up at her. "You couldn't have done this alone." Emma didn't deny it, because she hadn't, and that truth was waiting for him next. Just then, the front door opened behind him. Daniel turned instinctively and froze. A man stepped inside calmly, confident, professional, controlled. Daniel recognized him immediately. Michael Reeves, his lawyer, his trusted advisor, his friend. Daniel's stomach dropped. What is he doing here? Emma answered calmly. He's my lawyer now. The words hit harder than anything else. Because betrayal wasn't just emotional. It was structural, strategic, complete. Michael stepped forward professionally. No guilt, no hesitation, no apology. Daniel, his voice neutral, respectful, distant, like speaking to a client he no longer represented. Daniel stared at him in disbelief. "You helped her?" Michael didn't react emotionally. "I helped my client," Daniel laughed weakly, bitter, broken. "I was your client." Michael's eyes stayed steady. "You were. Past tense, finished, irreversible." Daniel realized the full truth now. Emma hadn't acted alone. She had acted intelligently. She had used the system, the law, time, silence, and patience. She hadn't destroyed him emotionally. She'd dismantled him legally, which was far worse. Emma stepped closer, not cruel, not angry, certain. "You taught me something," she said quietly. Daniel looked at her, confused. "What?" Emma held his gaze. "You taught me how easy it was for someone to pretend." Silence filled the space between them, and I stopped pretending first. Daniel felt smaller than he ever had before. Not because he lost money, not because he lost the house, because he lost her respect. And respect never returned once it left. Michael handed him one final document. "This confirms the transfer is complete." Daniel didn't take it, didn't need to. He already knew. Everything was gone. Emma walked to the door again, opened it, the same gesture, the same finality. "You should go now." Daniel stood there for several seconds, alone, even before he left, because loneliness didn't begin when you walked away. It began when someone stopped loving you. He walked past her slowly, not touching her, not speaking, not fighting, because there was nothing left to fight for. At the door, he stopped, turned slightly, but Emma wasn't looking at him anymore. She was already free. Daniel stepped outside. The door closed behind him, softly, but permanently. Daniel hadn't just lost his wife. He had lost his home, his power, his identity, and the one person who had truly known him. Daniel didn't know where to go. He sat inside his car for almost an hour, hands on the steering wheel. Engine off, mind empty. The house behind him was no longer his. The life behind him was no longer his. And for the first time in his adult life, he had nowhere that belonged to him. His phone buzzed, a message from Emma. Just an address, no explanation, no emotion, no words. Just a location. Daniel stared at it, confused, suspicious, afraid. But curiosity was stronger than pride. He started the engine and drove. The address led him to a small cafe, quiet, private, neutral. Emma was already there, sitting alone, calm, prepared, waiting. She didn't smile when she saw him. She didn't look angry. She looked finished. He sat across from her slowly. Neither of them spoke immediately, because some conversations didn't need introductions, only endings. Finally, Daniel asked, "Why am I here?" Emma studied him for a moment. Then she said something unexpected. "You deserve to know the truth." Daniel frowned. "What truth?" Emma reached into her bag, pulled out her phone, and placed it on the table. A photograph on the screen. Daniel looked down. His stomach dropped. It was her, Sophie, his mistress, smiling, standing beside Michael, his lawyer, Emma's lawyer, the same man who had helped Emma destroy him. Daniel's voice barely worked. What is this? Emma didn't blink. She wasn't random. Daniel felt his pulse spike. What do you mean? Emma's voice remained calm, controlled, final. She was part of the plan. Silence. Daniel's mind rejected it. No, impossible. He remembered Sophie's laugh, her touch, her voice. Her attention. It felt real. It had to be real. Emma continued. She met you exactly when you were most vulnerable. Daniel shook his head slowly. No. Emma didn't stop. She said exactly what you needed to hear. Daniel's breathing became uneven. No. Emma's final words cut through him completely. She showed you exactly who you really were. Daniel felt something collapse inside him. Not his marriage, not his money, his identity. Because the one person who made him feel powerful had never loved him. She had revealed him. You set me up, he whispered. Emma didn't deny it. I gave you the opportunity to be honest. Daniel looked at her in disbelief. You tested me. Emma shook her head. No. She leaned forward slightly. I gave you freedom, a pause, and you chose betrayal. Daniel realized the truth too late. Emma hadn't forced him. Emma hadn't manipulated him. Emma had watched him choose. Watched him reveal himself. Watched him destroy everything on his own. You wanted to destroy me, Daniel said weakly. Emma shook her head gently. No. She stood. I wanted to free myself. There was a difference. A painful difference. A permanent difference. Emma left the cafe without looking back. Without hesitation. Without regret. Because closure didn't require permission. Only acceptance. Daniel sat there alone, staring at the photograph, understanding everything. He hadn't been powerful. He had been predictable, and predictable men were easy to lose. Daniel thought he had control. But every choice he made had led him exactly where he deserved to be, alone. Daniel didn't go back to the house. He couldn't, not because he wasn't allowed, but because he no longer belonged there. He drove without direction, without destination, without purpose. The city looked different now, colder, distant, unfamiliar, not because it had changed. But because he had. For years, Daniel believed power meant control. Control over money, control over people, control over outcomes. But sitting alone in his car that night, he realized control had always been an illusion, because the only thing he had ever truly controlled was the moment he chose to betray the one person who loved him. Days passed, then weeks. Daniel moved into a small apartment, temporary, empty, quiet, no photos, no memories, no life, just space. Space to face himself. He tried to call Sophie once. No answer. He tried again. Blocked. Her number no longer existed. because her purpose had never been love. Her purpose had been truth, and truth had done its job. Daniel saw Emma one last time. By accident. She was walking down the street, calm, confident, free. She looked lighter, like someone who had survived something heavy. She saw him, stopped briefly. Their eyes met. There was no anger in hers, no pain, no regret. Just distance. Daniel opened his mouth to speak, to apologize, to explain, to undo the irreversible. But no words came, because apologies didn't rebuild trust, and explanations didn't erase choices. Emma gave him a small, polite nod, not as a wife, not as a lover, as a stranger. Then she walked away. And this time, Daniel understood. He wasn't losing her. He had already lost her long ago. This was simply the moment he accepted it. Months later, Daniel sat alone in his apartment. Watching the sun set through the window, he thought about power, about control, about choices, about consequences. He had lost money, he had lost his home, he had lost his status. But none of those losses hurt the most. The real loss was invisible. He had lost the one person who believed in him before he earned anything, before he built anything, before he became someone else. And now, there was no way back, because trust, once broken completely, never returned the same. Daniel finally understood something no success had ever taught him. Betrayal didn't destroy the person you betrayed. It revealed who you truly were.